One. Welcome back into another episode of the Daft on Draft podcast. As always, I'm Corey Kennan alongside James Foster, and I guess week 3 is already kicked off. We had Wake Forest and NC State already done by the time you're listening to this podcast, with NC State coming from behind to win that game 34-24. And then we're heading right into some Saturday action. The Friday slate is not great, but that's great for me because Indiana's playing. That means I'm just going to watch Fernando Mendoza. So,
hey, you're like me this year. Hoosier fan. We're watching could be a top 10 matchup going on, but we've got Hoosiers game front and center no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mendoza truthers alive and well out there. So
for me, it's not even as much about like loving Mendoza particularly. I just like
an IU guy. Yeah. I love it. I do like those IU running backs too, so I'll keep an eye out there.
Yeah.
Sure. But we're gonna talk through this week 3 slate. It's a little meatier than week 2 for sure. We got some pretty decent sized matchups here. We got a couple big time matchups as well. So we'll talk through all of that, and then we've got some mailbag questions too. Again, we blazed through the slate last week, so envisioning the same there, and we'll hit some mailbag questions here as well. So, James, week 3, how are you feeling?
I am really excited for week 3. I think it's going to pale in comparison to what, I don't know the future schedule, but what week 6, I'm not trying to do to me, what week 6 or 8 looks like. But yeah, I think that there are still some good matchups. Georgia, Tennessee obviously is the headliner. I'm honestly even more excited from an NFL draft perspective to see the 11 a.m. game before it. Oregon Northwestern. It's going to be Anto Saka against Isaiah World. Hopefully we get some one-on-one.
Oh yeah, baby.
That, if you're asking me what's the first tape that I'm going to Sunday morning, whenever the tape comes out, it's going to be Oregon versus Northwestern.
Yeah, for a couple reasons. The Anto Saka versus Isaiah World.
We're going to get into one of the other reasons for Oregon.
Let's start there. It's the first Saturday game. Dante Moore, man. I've been vocal on this podcast since the start of the season. I saw like 2 against Oklahoma State. Finding a bad decision from Dante Moore has been very, very rare. And again, I understand that he's played Montana State and in Oklahoma State where Mike Gundy has packed it in and is like asking them to fire him almost.
Right.
So I understand that he has not been sped up. He has not faced any pressure. He's ahead of the chains every single time he's dropping back to pass. Like, I get all of that. And it's probably not going to be much different against Northwestern. But, again, as far as the tests that are being put in front of him, man, like, flying colors so far. And I would like to see him just, pass another test with flying colors here. So, and if he does that, I will keep the hype train rolling. Into the Penn State week. And then if he passes the Penn State game, then we're really rolling.
No, it's so crisp for Dante Moore. Pretty much every decision, every throw. I think week 2 was even more impressive because even though the competition wasn't great, it was still better than Montana State. And I thought there were more impressive downfield throws from Dante Moore. Mm-hmm. Like you said, if he passes the test of the competition that he got Penn State coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he passes that test, then I'm ready to go all in for Dante Moore as potentially QB1, but we've got a question about that coming up.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, 2 weeks from Saturday is Penn State, Oregon.
Penn State, Indiana.
Yeah. So, we're gonna get a lot of decent quarterbacks against Penn State here coming up. So that'll be fun. But again, Anto Saka is the other matchup to watch there. Again, the Northwestern NFL talent is not deep in terms of the pool of talent there. So
nope. Caleb Tiernan.
Sure.
He'll be in the conversation.
Yeah, we'll get to watch Amari Washington against Caleb Tiernan, I guess. Then, well, Tiernan plays tackle again. I think he's a guard, but maybe we'll get some one-on-ones with Amari Washington. I like Amari Washington. Clemson, Georgia Tech. Again, we got Cade Klubnik against an ACC opponent and one that has an identity as a kind of a smash mouth football team. So, like, how's Cade gonna all of these questions? Like the big question that I will just continue to have about Clemson is like, how is Cade Klubnik gonna look? Like, is it Jekyll or is it Hyde? So that's gonna reign true again in this game, man. Like,
he's getting close to not really being a priority for me to watch, honestly.
Yep. Same. We'll get some Keelan Rutledge versus Peter Woods as well. I don't know
And
where you stand
when
on
I
Keelan
say that,
Rutledge,
by the
but
way, like eventually I'll watch everyone, but I just mean like during the season, when you've got a long list of players to get to, it's like you kind of figure out who's playing at a top 50 pick level and
yeah,
prioritize them in real time.
for sure, for sure. Where are you at with Keelan Rutledge? Have you
I have
watched
not
Keelan
watched
Rutledge?
it. No.
Okay, I did a film room on him last week
Tech guard?
because Sam's big
Right.
on Keelan Rutledge. So I did a film room. He's okay. I think he's okay. I think he plays a little high. He's clearly like fits the Georgia Tech identity of like play through the whistle and be mean. But he'll get to go against Peter Woods in this one. So that's probably the only other one-on-one NFL draft wise to watch in that game.
Yeah. I think the next matchup, I mean, Alabama, Wisconsin, I guess is worth mentioning. I don't really like
Yeah.
anyone from Wisconsin, but
Mm-mm.
I don't know. It's like it's a power four matchup, so it's at least quality competition for the Alabama guys. I think really the next one that I would really be interested to look at is Texas Tech and Oregon State. Because even though Oregon State's not good, it's still by far the best competition that Texas Tech's
Yeah.
edge rushers will get all season. So they've played, I think, Kent State and Arkansas Pine Bluff and absolutely dominated. So it'll probably be more of the same. But they've got Utah coming up the following week, which will be a big time matchup.
That could be a Big 12 championship rematch. Like and when I look at the Big 12, it's like, well, Utah is gonna punch everybody in the mouth, and then or Texas Tech should be able to put up 50 points on every Big 12 defense. So
Mhm.
um that I'm really looking forward to that matchup. And again, I've been pretty vocal that I think that Baron Morton is like the safe quarterback in this class in terms of like who's the one mid-round quarterback every year who's going to go on to be an NFL backup and
Right.
like potentially a spot starter. Like I think it's Baron Morton this year for me. Um, but again, I haven't charted or even watched Baron Morton because they've played absolutely nobody. Like I'm not watching Baron Morton versus Kent State. So I probably will watch this one as well. Um, yeah, I like that shout. I like that shout. Don't need to talk about USC Purdue. The next game in the slate, then, boy, you got to scroll for a little while here. I mean,
Although,
some people want to talk about Taylor Green at Arkansas. I'm not a huge Taylor Green guy.
you know what is interesting to me though?
Huh.
John Michael Gillenborg versus Utah. Utah's got some
That's
DBs.
true. They do.
Is it Tao Johnson and
Yeah.
Smith Snowden, right?
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, regardless, that's still probably going to be the best competition on his schedule. So
Easily.
uh,
Easily. And again,
could have
like
a
the only thing that
Jones
I,
moment like against Texas A&M,
yeah, and Penn State, he did back to
right?
back weeks against big time schools.
Yeah.
And like the things that I heard about scouts this summer is like he stayed at Wyoming and didn't transfer out because like he knew that they were going to build the offense around him. So like they did a little bit more last week, but like then let's build the offense around him a little bit because
Hmm.
he's obviously your best playmaker and you're going against your toughest opponent here. So
Yeah.
Florida LSU.
Right.
Nussmeier against SEC competition
Yes.
obviously is a big thing to think about, especially coming off a pretty down week against Louisiana Tech in that game. I'm going to be watching Braylon again. I'm a Braylon Moore fan. I've been a Braylon Moore fan for a while. So Caleb Banks is finally supposed to be healthy and playing in this game. So, and I had a pretty high summer grade on Caleb Banks too. So we'll see if we can get some Braylon Moore, Caleb Banks one-on-ones going in this game as well. Anything
Uh,
else about that game really pique your interest?
didn't Braylon? I think Braylon Moore sprained his ankle.
He did last week. I saw he was like questionable. I wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I know he
Yeah.
left the game against Louisiana Tech, but I thought they were just doing that more out of precaution. He will be available to play this weekend against Florida. So
Okay.
took all
Cool.
the reps with the first team. He's ready to go from Brian Kelly.
Cool.
Dang.
Yeah. Well, Mansour Delane had another strong performance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even though it was against LA Tech, but 4 targets, 1 reception, a pass breakup. He's up to 2 receptions allowed on 12 targets this year. So it'll be interesting to see if he can stack his pad his resume a little bit more against Florida.
Yeah, for sure. And he'll get to do it against probably Eugene Wilson, although Eugene Wilson does a lot of gadgety
Yeah.
garbage stuff. But
Who's Florida's like X? Do you know?
I could find out real fast. Florida. Oh, J. Michael Sturdivant,
Oh yeah.
who's also not a very physical receiver. He's a track star though, so he's a
Right.
track runner. He's a burner. So we will see that long speed of Mansour Delane tested a little bit in this game for sure. We'll get to see Austin Barber against Patrick Payton if that intrigues you at all.
Not too much,
Harold
but down the road
Harold
that'll
Perkins.
be valuable.
Yeah, yeah. Harold Perkins a little bit off the edge there as well.
I liked what Harold Perkins showed in week 1.
I did too, man. I did too. Again, everything still was kind of triggering downhill.
Right.
And I still want to see him do some of that more stacked, read, react, and backpedally kind of stuff before I get too overly excited. But what he did show was nice. With Florida, though, man, the guy who's not even draft eligible, have you seen the running back Jaden Ball?
Yes.
That
Yes.
boy's nice. Like, I'm going to be all in on Jaden Ball next year.
Well, the first
Like,
time I
all in.
saw him, I was like, "Oh, I have to add this dude to my draft board." And then I realized he wasn't in this
He's a
class.
sophomore, and he's cooking people. Yeah, he's nice. He's nice. Texas A&M Notre Dame.
Mhm.
Jeremiah Love needs to have a good game against another
Yes.
good opponent. If he lays another goose egg against another top opponent, we might have. I mean, he's definitely out of the. I mean, it's week 3. Like, he's not out of any conversation. But like, we came into the season saying this guy could be in the same tier as Ashton Genty. The thing with Ashton Genty though is that he went for 200 against Oregon. Like, he, he consistently produced against the best teams. So I would feel a little less inclined to, and I had a blue chip grade on Jeremiah Love coming into the season too. So, I hope he does have a bounce back game, but he needs a bounce back game in a big way in this one.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I mean, running back's not a position like others where you can get really drafted off of traits, It's like you got to have production. So, especially when you talk about going in the Genty range. So that's got to come for him. I would have said that Notre Dame has offensive linemen that I'm excited to watch earlier in the season, but I'm not necessarily as interested in Emil Wagner after that Miami tape. I think he's probably more of a 2027 prospect, but I am interested to see Cassius Howell against supposedly good competition,
Yeah, those tackles were brutal against Miami. Right. So Cassius Howell should have a fun little time. We'll get to see Willie the Third get tested a little bit in this game.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one.
With Great House, Faison, and and Conception against Christian Gray and Leonard Moore in this game as well. So there's going to be a lot of fun battles out on the boundary in this game for sure.
Definitely. Any other matchups that stand out to you?
I mean, well, we got South Carolina against a Vanderbilt team that has an identity. Again, do I think Vanderbilt's like NFL draft talent pool is deep outside of Stowers? No, but Sellers, I think, is still hasn't taken that leap that I had hoped that he'd had taken. So we're into SEC play now. Can you show me a little something more? A little something more here. So
I think that's a good segue into our first question, honestly.
Yeah. So let's get into it. We've got 5 mailbag questions again. We crowdsourced the Discord channel. Again, if you want access to my Discord channel, all you need to do is just have a free sub to the Substack, and there's an invite code in that welcome email. That's literally it. No money involved, no nothing like that. It's a pretty cool community. Yeah. So that's always a good way to get involved with the draft community. We're always in there talking ball, game days, stuff like that, talking NFL draft prospects. But first question here. How far away are we from the potential Dante Moore versus John Mateer QB1 debate, James?
So I think that the Dante Moore part of this question is valid. To me, John Mateer, I think that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I thought he had a nice performance against Michigan as in like, oh, this could be a nice top 50 guy, not necessarily first round for me yet, because there were a ton of misses. Uh,
Mhm.
should have thrown 2 or 3 interceptions. I mean, had some really bad misses that went right in, sailed a pass over the middle that landed in a safety's lap. Just spraying throws. And yeah, I think I don't know. I don't really see the traits as like off the charts in the way that Sellers is, to where I would want to, still bet on that regardless. But I'm open to him proving that. I think with Dante Moore, it really just comes down to the level of competition that he's faced and
Mhm.
proving it against the best teams on his schedule.
Yeah. I've just consistently said that. Again, I was on that Shrine Bowl Spaces call this week, and he got asked about it, and I was just like, I need to see him sped up. Like, I need to see him face some sort of pressure before I can make
Right.
any sort of like broad sweeping statement. But I think this might have more to do with the rest of the quarterbacks we came into the season talking about than John Mateer or Dante Moore to begin with, because we've talked about Klubnik ad nauseum. Um, I've been pretty vocal that like my thoughts on Nussmeier will always have a cap on it. Like we'll always
Yeah.
have a ceiling on it. Like Sellers
I'll
hasn't
always
taken
be
it,
like waiting for someone
like
else to overtake Nussmeier.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Mendoza hasn't played anybody. Like he's played Old Dominion and he's playing Indiana State this weekend, so it's still not playing anybody. Um, so I think this conversation has more to do with the rest of the class than it does Dante Moore or John Mateer, but that's not to discredit what they've done. But I agree with you on John Mateer. Again, I did a live charting. It's up on the Substack. If you are a paid sub, you can go watch that. But like, yeah, he made some like throws. It's like, yeah, that's a ball. That's a fantastic throw. Some of them staring down the barrel too of some pressure.
Yeah.
Um, but there's
That
like
one where
his
he ripped
touch.
out of the sack.
Yeah, yeah. His touch is not good. Like everything is on the same linear plane. Every single football, no matter the depth of the throw, he's trying to throw everything on a line drive, and there are some throws that require you to take a little bit off and loft it and layer it, and I haven't seen the ability to really do that yet from
Mhm.
Mateer um yeah, but again, Dante Moore, I'm like, we're like my hands on the button with Dante Moore. Of like
Yeah,
my hands on the button.
I
Um,
totally agree.
but I think we're closer than we want to be to that conversation of how far away we are between the Moore versus Mateer QB1 debate. All right, next question here. Again, we're not going to take the low hanging fruit because we've already talked a ton about him. The low hanging fruit to this question would be Cade Klubnik. Which player needs the strongest conference play to reestablish their draft stock? I have my answer for this question.
You go
For sure.
first.
It's Caden Proctor for me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I almost thought
Caden
that was
Proctor for me.
low hanging fruit too.
It kind of is too. It is a little bit of low hanging fruit. Had a really bad week one, man. Like an
Yeah,
atrocious week one against Florida State. So, um, yeah, it's got to be Caden Proctor. Somehow came into the season looking even bigger than he did last year, and just didn't look good at all in that game. So, again, he rebounded nicely last week, but congrats, you rebounded against a team that you
yeah,
should beat the living tar out of. So, we're getting into Wisconsin will be a good like median between the two, I think, because again, Wisconsin's not overly talented anymore. I don't know how well coached that team is either. But it is a P4 competition level of competition for Proctor. So, but once we get into the season, yeah, it's got to be Caden Proctor for me.
yeah. I mean, Proctor, like I said, he was almost a low hanging fruit because everybody else that I would potentially pick almost pales in comparison to how bad that week one performance was. I would say Deontay Lawson and
Mhm.
Justin Jefferson, the Alabama linebackers, could be in that conversation. I think at to a much lesser degree, TJ Parker hasn't
Yeah,
been overly impactful. I've been watching Auburn's offense closely and very impressed with Connor Lew, but Xavier Chaplin, it just has not moved me. I got to,
I wasn't a Chapman guy
he's
coming into the
still going to be
season
like a
either.
fringe day two guy to me unless he dramatically picks it up. So those are the main guys that stick out as kind of struggling early on, at least that
My
I've
thing with Chaplin, offensive tackle is so hard to evaluate because like my personal feelings on tackles, like I'm still gonna give him the grade that I think, but like at the end of the day, that position always gets elevated, especially like a run on day 2, because everybody needs offensive tackles, and we just saw Anthony Belton and Ozzie Trapilo get drafted in the second round. So like even if I don't value Chaplin higher than like a late third or early fourth
Yeah.
round player, maybe even like a fit, like the NFL still might draft him in the second round, like because that's just the need.
I feel like Ozzie Trapilo and Anthony Belton had way better tape than
Wow.
Xavier
Okay.
Chaplin to
Well, there you
me.
go. Okay.
But
Yeah, I wasn't a his
Chaplin
finger's
has
bad.
like the dream build.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all he has to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that as well. One more player that I think needs to reestablish the draft stock and conference play is Max Clare, tight
Yeah.
end from Ohio State. He's got 2 catches for 18 yards through 2 games so
Right.
far. And that Texas game, they threw to him early and often in like the first part of that game, and he looked out of sorts. Like it looked like the moment was maybe a little bit too big for him in that game in the big house against Texas. First game coming over from Purdue. He had a bad drop on third down. So I think Max Clare is another one who really needs to like lock it in here a little bit. And because I had like we both had really high hopes for Max Clare coming into the season, and so far we're at 2 catches for 18 yards. So Max Clare would be one that I would put in that conversation as well.
Yep, that's a good shout.
All right, next one's more of a draft philosophy question here, a scouting philosophy question. When scouting prospects, are there any non-negotiables for you, and why?
Okay, so I wrote down for every position.
Oh, you went. Okay, I didn't do
Yeah.
that. I had like some
I just,
overarching that like kind of
I'm
goes
just
for
gonna
every
list them
position.
off rapid fire. All right, you
Okay,
ready?
yeah, sounds good.
And these are things if you don't have, they're not necessarily non-negotiables, but it's going to take a lot to overcome them. Okay.
Uh-huh.
These are basically just my most important traits. Quarterback, it's anticipation and timing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Running back, the ability to play through contact. Receiver, the ability to explode and separate out of breaks. Um, Tight end is going to be straight line speed plus inline blocking ability. Tackle is going to be foot speed / mirror ability. Defensive line at any position, it's going to be being able to win with power as a pass rusher. Linebacker, couldn't decide between these two, so it's diagnosing the play quickly and being able to shed blocks or play through blocks. And then defensive back, it's going to be recovery speed and being able to play the ball deep downfield.
I love it. I love it. So for mine, I took a different approach. I was thinking of like a more macro level of like
Okay.
something that expands through every position. And I came up. I have like two. I have two. The first one is the ability to excel and decel. Like no matter
Yeah.
the position, like I need to see an ability to change directions fluidly, to be fluid, like the hip flexibility, hip fluidity. It's got to be there. Like I think every position needs it. Even quarterbacks, almost specifically quarterbacks, you have to torque through your hips like crazy. So you have to have kind of looser hips. And then the other one is just like play strength and toughness. Like this is something early on when I was scouting players that I really undersold, like undersold big time. Especially like at wide receiver,
Yeah.
where like I fell in love with dudes who could just move so well. And like so I overlooked like the ability to play through contact, that ability to, separate at the top of routes with like subtle nudges, things like that. If they could run every route and they were fluid and explosive, like yeah, I was all about it. Like I think two guys who come to mind, and it's really funny because they both have played, one plays for and have played for the Browns in the past.
Yeah.
And so like they've both touched my team that I cover at the NFL level. But I loved both of them as NFL draft prospects even before they put on an orange helmet. But Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy are the two that fall into this category. And Elijah Moore, I thought he could run every route in the book. His XLT cell was amazing. He's explosive, really creative with that, like converting into a ball carrier after the catch. Dude could not play through contact at Ole Miss, and that kind of stuff translated to the NFL. Judy's kind of the same way. Judy had a breakout year, but here's the thing with Judy still is he still can't play through contact, and I think that really separates him. Like it hampers him from being a true number one dominant wide receiver at the NFL level. So and then like that plays through into like the trenches as well. Like I did that podcast with Brandon Thorpe about like what to watch for when scouting offensive linemen, and like one of the very first things he said like of what he looks out for is like, well, you got to be able to play hurt. It's like you're getting into a car crash every week, so like you
Yeah.
have to have that ability to play through ailments. So um at the end of the day, football's a contact sport. It is a physical sport, so like you have to have that ability to play through strength, like that have that play strength and the toughness to play through contact. Like you just have to. So those are I would say are the two big non-negotiables for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Those both apply to every position pretty much.
Yeah. Next one, wide receiver position. I came into the season really low on every wide receiver except for two of them. So this question, we've seen some step ups at wide receiver though. So beyond Jordan Tyson, who are some potential top wide receivers you're eyeing in like the 2 to 5 range? Wide receivers 2 through 5 range.
Yeah. So I really like Mekhi Lemon as my wide receiver too. Highlighted him as a helmet sticker kind of for the last 2 weeks, even though they haven't played any high level competition. But I just think he's so smooth, so crafty. And like you said, with, Elijah Moore and Jerry Judy, he has what smaller receivers have to succeed at the NFL, which is the hand usage and the technique and the physicality to play through contact at the top of routes and not let your speed get slowed down the stem. So I really like Mekhi Lemon. And then I would also highlight Chris Bell, who took a quick slant to the house this past week, looked exactly like AJ Brown. I mean, Colts touchdown 2020, you look it up, it's AJ Brown. It's a mirror image or video.
Yeah, Chris Bell's one of the two that I was referencing that I came to the season high on. So him and Tyson were the two. Like I didn't even love Carnell Tate coming in the season, but
Yeah.
I have loved what I've seen from Carnell
Same.
Tate through 2 weeks so far. Like he looks like a completely different level of locked in compared to last week. Like Dalton and I have a podcast recording on or last year. Yeah. Dalton and I have a podcast recording on the Ohio State offense where we like literally like talk about Carnell Tate as the antithesis of an Ohio State receiver, of a Brian
Yeah.
Hartline receiver, where all of those nitty-gritty things that you expect out of wide receivers, Tate was really bad at last year. And it looks like a completely different player this year. So Carnell Tate's one of those players, like if he does it through Big Ten play, that guy's going to go first round. So I'll throw Carnell Tate into that conversation as well. You mentioned Lemon. I'll throw in Jacoby Lane as well. Jacoby Lane is a little slender. So I want to see once we get into some, I mean, they play in the Big Ten, so we'll get some Big Ten play here. Once we get into some deeper Big Ten play, how does that frame handle, AJ Harris, Jermaine Matthews, some of those more physical Big Ten corners. But Jacoby Lane is like getting into that conversation, into that territory for me as well.
Yeah, I like Jacoby Lane. So USC has something with these big, slow receivers, but Jacoby Lane is I think he's one of the slowest receivers in this class. Like to me,
Okay.
I mean it's like I like so much about him, and I don't even say that as like a counter to like you liking Jacoby Lane. It's just it's a Drake London kind of Tedero McMillan sort of deal with Jacoby Lane, where you're gonna have to balance that in your mind.
Yeah. I'm going to throw out one more receiver real fast too. And it's on a team where there's just an embarrassment of speedsters. And so he's kind of gotten lost in the sauce a little bit. And he's on LSU. So, I mean, LSU has Aaron Anderson and they've got Chris Hilton, and they've got Barryon Brown, but like to the point where like they don't have enough touches to go around all these guys. But I don't know if you've noticed Xavier Thomas at all for LSU. But like Xavier Thomas is like very firmly like in my mind, like if this guy was getting the targets that Aaron
What
Anderson
number
is
is
getting,
he?
we'd be talking about first round status with him. Boy,
Is he 3?
He is 0.
Okay, I've definitely noticed him, but
So he's getting a lot of like manufactured carries out of the backfield is actually
Okay.
kind of what he's getting more than catches. But again, he's a Mississippi State transfer. He's got better size measurements than Aaron Anderson, Barryon Brown, Chris Hilton, those guys. He's listed at 5'10", 192. So he's got more of a prototypical size. And the Clemson game, it was his only catch of the game, but he ran a deep dig, man, and he got out of that break with such fluidity. It was like, this is my kind of receiver. But again, he's buried and he's not getting targets. He's got 5 catches through 2 games and an offense that's throwing the ball upwards of 40 times. So like, let's get him some more targets. They are giving him some manufactured touches because he's really creative with the football in his hands. But Xavier Thomas is that receiver for me, where it's like, if we can get this guy some targets, I'm gonna be on board here. So that's one more I'll throw out there as well.
Okay, I gotta add him to the list.
All right, last mailbag here. This is pairing up a couple of our guys here in the cornerback class.
Yeah.
Who gets drafted higher? Arizona State corner Keith Abney or Tennessee corner? Is it Colton Hood? Is that his first name?
Yeah, Colton Hood.
Colton Hood.
So I haven't watched Keith Abney this year. Have you?
I watched the Mississippi State game, and they threw at him one time. They picked on the guy number 12 opposite of him the whole game. They threw at Abney one time. He broke on it. He played through the hands. It's the only time they threw at him man to man.
I could see both of them. I could see neither of them being in this class, but I might say Hood just because he has more prototypical measurables.
Okay.
But I think both are very good players.
Yeah. I have not watched Colton Hood yet. It's one of those players that, Tennessee hasn't played anybody, so why am I watching that? But I will watch this week because they're playing Georgia. So I will definitely watch Colton Hood this week. We didn't talk about Tennessee, Georgia. There's one player I want to talk about. I was a huge fan of Chris Brazzell, kind of out of Tulane a couple of years ago, and it didn't live up to the hype last year with Nico at quarterback. Chris Brazzell was having a little bit of the production that I thought he would have coming to Tennessee. If he could do it against Dalen Everett and those Georgia DBs, I might start the Brazzell hype train again here coming into week 4. So just beware of that. Keep that in the back of your mind that Chris Brazzell might get a helmet sticker here if he has a good game against Georgia. So
all right,
yeah. All right, James. Knocked out 5 questions. Knocked out a week 3 talk. You got anything else?
Great questions. Great.
Those were we got excellent questions this week. All 5 of those were heaters. All 5 of those were 100-mile-an-hour 4 seams. So I do appreciate that from the Discord channel. Please join the Discord channel. It's a lot of fun. Invite code in just a free sub. So do that. Join the community. It's been a ton of fun. But James, we'll have helmet stickers to give out coming back next week. We've got a deeper slate of college football games too. So it should be a fun weekend here, man.
I'm pumped.
All right. Well, until next time, this has been another episode of the Daft on Draft podcast.